Hello everyone, and welcome to episode number 32 of the Rabe Creations podcast. My name's Nicole, and I'm coming to you from Calgary, Alberta, here in Canada, where I live with my husband Barry and my wonderful rescued Rottweiler named Grace. So, it's been a little while since I've talked to you, not too long, just about that 2-week period that I tend to stick to. Welcome. If you're a new viewer, welcome, and I hope what you enjoy. I hope that you enjoy what you see here. Oh my goodness, I'm all tongue-tied. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. I'm glad you're here, and I hope we can spend some quality crafty time together. Now, I know I always say, I'm going to try and make this one a little bit shorter, but really I am. I'm going to try and make this one a little bit shorter. It is a little bit later on in the afternoon. What started out as a beautiful sunshiny day has sort of degraded into a cloudy, looks like it's going to be thunder showers soon kind of day. So I do apologize if the storm does blow in. We may get some thunder showers here this afternoon. So it's been an exciting couple of weeks. I've gotten a fair amount of things done. I've released a pattern. It's so many things going on, and I'll be sharing a lot of that with you today. So let's get right into it with some of the finished pieces I've made. So longtime viewers of this podcast will know that I do sell product at markets, and I do have my fall markets coming up and my holiday markets coming up. So I have started to stockpile some product for those markets, trying to get a nice early start on it so that I'm not rushing in those last couple of weeks leading up to them, because that's never a good thing. And I know there's a couple of other podcasters out there who are doing the same thing. I know Rel over at the Dabbling Hook is getting together her cowls and her beanies, getting all prepared for her craft shows. And Lisa over at Happy to Hook Creations is also sort of stocking up her inventory. So that's kind of exciting to know that people all over the place are sort of involved in that same activity, right? So first off, I figured I've gotten a couple of the Lost Souls Skull Shawl. That is such a tongue twister. Oof. But I've gotten a couple of those done. And I thought, what else am I going to bring along that's sort of the filler on my display? And now I usually do have a little stand beside my table that has a couple of like drawers in it that I can display things. And previously, there depends on what kind of a kick I've been on. So there's been years where it's full of baby booties, years where it's full of mittens. This year, it's going to be full of dishcloths. Yes, I have jumped on the dishcloth bandwagon. Actually, I make my own dishcloths for years. But I've really started experimenting with different stitch patterns and different hook sizes, and it's actually kind of a neat way to learn new stitches. I've just gotten myself a new stitch dictionary, and to practice the stitches and to try them out, I'm hooking them up in cotton and making dishcloths. So it's a multi-purpose thing. I'm learning new stitches and building up my skill set, but at the same time, I'm making some product that I could sell. So I've got a couple to show you. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 here that I can show you. They are all packaged up and ready to go because I do try and do my packaging as I go. So this is what my dishcloths look like as they are presented to my customers. And they say on the Mum's Favorite Dishcloths, 100% cotton. And I do sell them at $5 each or 3 for $12. This one is in a blue color, obviously, with a variant on the seed stitch is what that one is done in. And then I have a coral colored one with a waffle stitch pattern. Now all of these measure about, I would say, about this big squared. So they're all within about the same size, a nice size for a dishcloth. So this one is a basket weave type of a pattern. And this one is, can't remember what this pattern was called. It was one of the new ones that I was testing out. And it's got like slanted stitches on it. I quite like this one. It's nice and dense. Not very holey for a dishcloth. Now I did try one other stitch, and I don't even have it here to show you. It's gone into my rotation to go through my dishes. I won't be selling it because it got all wonky in its size, but I really like the stitch. It really looks like knitting. So it's a row of regular stitches. I think it was single crochet or half double crochet, and then a row of slip stitches in the back loop, so it really forces the stitch forward and really gives it the look of knitting. So I may be playing with that stitch in the future on some projects. So these 3 are 3 more in that seed stitch pattern. I really like this one. It gives it a little bit of a scrubbiness to it. So there's a beige with colored flecks, another variant on a beige, and then a bright red. And then finally, I have 1 more in that waffle stitch. So nothing terribly exciting. I really like the packaging. It's still got that handmade touch to it. Again, I have so much scrapbooking paper that I can just go and pull paper for probably the next 2 or 3 years. So I'm not too worried about the costs of packaging, and I think it makes it look really nice. So those are 8 finished dishcloths. Also, what's on my head, it is a sort of a Rosie the Riveter style hair tie. Quite like it. It did come out of one of my magazines, and when I sat down to record today, I went through some magazines trying to find the pattern, and I can't find it. If I do find it, I will link it down below, but it was in one of the UK magazines where they do sort of a head-to-head competition between 2 designers. They give them the yarn and they come up with a project. Now, one of the designers for this yarn, now this isn't the yarn that they used, but in the magazine, I believe she did a bag, and the other one did this head wrap. And I really like this head wrap. It's made up of granny squares. There's 6 granny squares, and then just a tapered edge to it. So not very complicated to make at all. And I've just been using up my extra Karen cotton cakes to do one of these. And yeah, I quite like it. It's long enough that you can tie it. It doesn't get really tight on your head, which I hate. And I seem to have an odd head shape where things just fall off. So this has stayed on all day long, so I'm quite pleased with it. Alrighty, what else for finished projects? Well, I do have a finished project, but I'm going to show you that later because it is a pattern launch. So let me step away for one moment, and I will be right back with some projects that are on the go currently. All right, so some current projects. Now this is going to seem kind of silly, but I have 2 dishcloths on the go. See, because when you're in the middle of one dishcloth, but that yarn and hook is in another room, and you finally got a chance to sit down and plug into watching some YouTube videos, and you don't want to get up and go get it, what do? You just grab another ball of yarn and a new hook and you start another one. So I actually have 2 dishcloths on the go. One is nearly completed. I will show you that one first. I am really liking how this is turning out. So I picked up this big ball of Handicrafter cotton at Michael's, and I really liked this color palette, but sometimes, you know, you're never sure how things are going to work up, especially in crochet. But let me show you. Oh, isn't that nice? I really like how these colors are playing together. So it's got sort of a beige, sort of seems to be the background color, we'll call it. And then it's got a brown, a light blue, and a teal. And I'm really smitten with this color. So this is one of the the variation on the seed stitch. And this is almost completed. So let me just count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yes, it gets one more two-row repeat. And then it will be a perfect square. And then I just go around it once with a double crochet to finish it off. But yeah, so that is nearly a completed washcloth. I do want to have, 25 to 35 dishcloths ready for the markets, because I do give them or sell them at that $5 each or 3 for $12. So I need to have enough so that people who want to buy multiples can. And then the next dishcloth that I have on the go is done in this. And again, it's just handicrafter cotton from Michaels. And it is a beige. I don't have any of the ball bands anymore. I throw them away. It's beige and it has green, dark brown, and sort of a rusty red speckling in it. And here is what I have done on this next dishcloth. And it is a 5-row or a 5-stitch front post, back post repeat. So it looks the same from both sides. And I'm really liking this one. Again, it's creating a very dense fabric that I think will be great for a dishcloth. So there will be more coming in this stitch pattern as well. So those are the 2 dishcloths I have on the go, and they should be done here fairly quickly. And I've also just about finished an amigurumi. It's come out of this book, Amigurumi Monsters. And it is a meteor book, so it's got all different kinds of contributors. So a whole bunch of different designers have put together patterns to be in this book. The one that I'm making, the monster's name is Yum Yum, and the designer is Dennis. His name is actually Dennis. He's a designer, I believe. He is from the Netherlands. I believe the author bio at the back of the book said. Let me just double check, so I don't want to be lying to you. Where is it? Yes, from the Netherlands. He is a graphic designer in the Netherlands. And as I said, the little monster he has designed is named Yum Yum. And here is a really good picture of a completed Yum Yum. Isn't he cute? He does have a tail and little spots on his back. I wonder if there's a picture I can show of that without showing too much of the pattern. There it is. Let's do this, and there you go. So far I have completed the body, the eyes, the tongue, and one of the spots. So I have a couple of, and the mouth. I have a couple of the spots to go, and his arms. Now I am making this almost completely out of scrap yarns. So mine is already 2 tones of purple. Will potentially be moving into 3 tones of purple. His arms may be a different color. And yeah, the only thing so far that is stuffed is the body shape. Everything else is in single pieces that haven't been sewn together yet. So once he is completed and sewn together, so on the next podcast, I'll definitely show you him as a finished project. But yes, well, I guess I can show you the body, because it's all living right here. So the body is completely stuffed already, because you kind of had to stuff it as you go to complete it. And this is the body. So as you can see, instead of all being one solid color, I sort of did a little bit of a stripe fade. His mouth is the dark purple, so it goes quite nicely on the bottom here. His eyelids are the same light purple as the top, so it balances out nicely. As I said, his tail and his arms may need to be a darker purple yet, but I think that'll work out just fine. And as for the tongue and the spots, well, this is the tongue here, and I'm sort of making it in this tealy, minty, greenish color. And I think that'll be a nice contrast to all the purples. And that's also the color of his spots. So I will show you Yum Yum when he is completely together. Next podcast. So my other no, that's it. That's all I've got to show you for works in progress, because the other work in progress is still in the planning stage, because yes, I am coming up with 2 more designs. I am working on a sock design right now and a shawl wrap type of a thing. I'm very excited about both of them. Designing in lighter weight yarns, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can hardly wait for those to be ready for testers, and when they are, you guys will be the first to know. So let me tell you about a pattern that just released on July 1st. So first, let me step away, make sure I still have lots of room on my memory card in my computer, and I will be right back and we can talk all about my project or my pattern that has released and that is now available for purchase, as well as some new acquisitions to my stash. Be right back. All right, so let's start out with the new acquisitions. We'll leave the pattern till the very end. So new acquisitions. First off, let me show you some fabric that I have recently purchased and will be turning into bags in my shop fairly quickly. So the first fabric to show you is this one here. And it is sort of a Day of the Dead, Sugar Skulls type fabric, but it has the whole of the skeletons on it. I thought this was really pretty and quite vibrant, and Sugar Skulls are still a pretty big seller out there, so I'll be making up some bags in that beautiful fabric. I also got this one, which just has some antique looking keys on it. I was trying to find some fabrics that potentially could be used more for Halloween coming up and fall, so that's sort of caught my eye for that. Going along with that is my favorite acquisition. Now, I'm not sure this is going to become bags. This may become a shirt for myself or potentially a skirt for myself. And hopefully there'll be enough left over for a bag because I did buy a lot. I saw this and I had to have it. How amazing is that? So it is a homage to our movie monsters of the past. Am I holding it upside down to you? I am. Oh my goodness. Let me turn it this way so you can actually see it right side up. It is an homage to our movie monsters of the past. So we've got the Mummy, we've got Frankenstein, we've got Dracula, we've got the werewolf. So all of those really, really classic movie monsters. Oh my goodness, I saw this and I knew I had to have it. So as I said, I'm not sure if this is going to be project bags or a wearable for myself, or maybe both. We'll see. Then I found this really nice fabric that's just like it almost looks like a ticking old linen, but it's not, it's a cotton. But I figured this would be great for lining of the project bags, especially again, the winter or the fall and Halloween type bags. And then last but not least, another really fun print that I found. Now to me, it's more summery, but I think it'll be good year round as well. And it is Volkswagens. Now it doesn't have the Volkswagen symbol anywhere on it, so I shouldn't get into any trouble for copyrights. It's just sort of got that iconic style to it. Very hippie, very boho. I quite like this one as well. So that's the new fabric that I picked up. So you know what that means. There will be new bags coming into the shop in a couple of weeks. So keep an eye out for that. Also, let me see. During one of my diving into Etsy to try and find new yarn providers and dyers, I did find a new to me anyway yarn dyer out of Canada. She's out of Toronto, Ontario, and her company name is Lamb and Kid Knits. Lamb and Kid Knits. If you live in Canada, I really, really strongly suggest you check this dyer out. She has seems to be quite a bit of stock, and most of it is not dye to order, because dye to order you can often have to wait for a pretty serious amount of time to get your yarn. She sent it right away, so that sort of says to me that this was not dyed to order, it's stock that she has. Her skeins are, the ones that I bought are merino sock yarn, and so they're a sock weight, but they have no nylon in them. So I will not be using them for socks. I will be using them for shawls and that sort of thing. But they are that really fingering weight of yarn. They are absolutely beautiful. So let me show you the first one here. There is her nice little card. So Lamb and Kid. And this colorway is called Red Pear. How gorgeous is that? And it is 100% superwash merino wool. So it's a sock weight, as I said, but no nylon in it. So I personally would not use these for socks. I don't think that without the nylon, just merino, I don't think is going to last long enough. There are alternatives to nylon. People use silk as an alternative to nylon. People use BFL, Blue Face Leicester, a breed of sheep that has a stronger wool, for lack of a better term. Yeah, I wouldn't use 100% merino just for socks. That's just my personal opinion. Other people may say it's just fine, but I don't think they would last long enough. The second color does not have a color name, but it spoke volumes to me. Would you look at that? It is absolutely stunning. I'm really finding myself lately getting into really muted, moody colors. That's how I'm describing them. Not pastel. That's not what I'm talking about, but the muted, moody colors. Amy over at Stranded Dye Works, she has a new pink color that she's dyeing, and she's calling it not dirty pink, not grungy pink, but something like that. It's sort of got that dirty, grungy look to it. And that's what I feel both of these have. They have that darker, muted. They're not bright colors, but they're intense colors. Yeah, they're moody. That's all I can describe them as moody. So one other reason that I'm suggesting Canadian dyers check, or Canadian purchasers check Lamb and Kid knits out on Etsy is the cost of her shipping, which was free. Now I know as an Etsy seller that I can just roll the cost of my shipping into my product prices, because Etsy charges they take their profit off of your shipping as well as your product price. I know it's crazy, but they do. So a lot of people have just put out a single price, and that's the price including shipping, and they just call it free shipping. But this dyer, her skeins are listing at $28 Canadian. So I don't know what the exchange rate is for Americans, and I don't know if it's a free shipping for Americans as well. But if you are in Canada, you are getting hand-dyed 100% merino yarn for $28, and you are not going to pay for shipping. That is amazing. It does appear that she is a newer dyer. She does not have a lot of sales yet, but I can tell you that she was quick. It came very quickly. It came well packaged. It did not come in balled up skeins like this. It came vacuum sealed flat. It just saves her money on shipping, so I understand why she's doing it. But lots of people send that way and still charge shipping, and she's not. So well worth looking at if you are in Canada and you are interested in trying some beautiful hand-dyed merino yarn. Give her a shot. See what you think. And finally, in my acquisitions, I've been talking for a while about a yarn dyer here in Alberta, and her name is Louise, and she has a Etsy shop. She is the Wool Baron. She does the most amazing self-striping yarn that I have ever worked with. And she contacted me a little while ago, and we've been in communication. We are trying to figure out a self-striping that the color repeats are large enough for crocheters to make socks comfortably with self-striping. And guess what? She has sent me the first prototype of the color length, the color change length that I sort of recommended to her. So here it is, and this is how she ships. Now I left it like this so I could show you. This is the same way that these came. So as you can see, it is not balled up, it's not skeined up, it's shipped flat, and it is vacuum sealed, and it really, really does cut down on the costs of shipping. So I'm going to open this right away, and you'll be able to see that the yarn is not affected in a bad way by vacuum sealing if you've never seen yarn come this way before. These are not fabric scissors or yarn scissors. These are plastic and paper scissors. And here it is. Oh my goodness. Would you look at this? Now it really doesn't have a colorway name or anything with it because it is a prototype. And again, I had talked to Louise about potentially doing up a sort of muted yet not pastel, and she has done a fabulous job. Would you look at that? Oh my goodness. So let me wind it up for you, and you'll be able to see what it looks like in a more familiar. Okay. All right. So there it is in a more familiar state. Isn't that pretty? So I will be getting to work on my socks fairly quickly here. As I said, I am also in the process of designing a sock pattern, which is extremely exciting. And oh, the maths. Oh, the maths. But I'm going to do it. I am determined to get my pattern out there. So there it is. Thank you so much, Louise. I am so excited. All right. Well, let me do one more quick break because I don't want to run out of recording space, and I know I'm not going to, but I did once and now I'm paranoid. So let me take one more quick break and then we will get into the big pattern release. Hold on 1 second, please. All right. Thank you so much for sticking around to the very end. I have released a new pattern. I've talked to you about it before on previous podcasts, and it has been tested, it has been edited, and it is now ready for release. In fact, it released on July the 1st. It is called the Beach Vibes Crochet Bag. And yeah, let me show it to you. So this was the first one that I did, and it is one that is featured on the pattern. I will insert some pictures at the end of the video to showcase some of the things I've talked about today. So these bags are made with the Caron cotton cakes, the new ones this year, the bigger ones, and each bag takes less than one cotton cake, which is kind of nice. It is a round bottom, so a bucket style bag, and the patterning on it is, I call them stacked shells. There is a panel that has just some peeky holes that I thought would actually look really nice with some ribbon fed through that. I think that would be a really nice touch. And then more stacked shells. You could also line this bag if you wanted it to be a lined bag. So if you'd like to see the bag in a solid, here I have it again in the Caron cotton cakes, but in the solid pink color. It is the exact same pattern, just in solid pink. And again, I will insert a picture at the end of this video. So, before I talk about the pattern itself, I need to thank a few people. I had 6 wonderful testers who reached out and offered to test this pattern for me. And without them, I would not be able to put the pattern out for release. So I need to call out Crystal, Monique, Delisa, Vera, Alice, and Melinda. In no particular order, you are all amazing. Thank you so much. I couldn't have done it without your support. Thank you. just thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. I did have other people offer to test for me as well, and I did have to limit it. I limited it to 6 people. That to me was a doable number and enough input. But I will be designing, as you know, more patterns, and I will definitely be looking for testers again. So if you weren't part of the test group this time, I will try really hard to make sure that you get to be a part of the test group next time. So thank you so much to everybody. So where can you find my bag? You can find my bag on in my Etsy shop, and that's the Rabe Creations on Etsy. And you can also find that as a Ravelry download. It is available from July 1st until July 7th at a 10% discount. In fact, both shops, the Etsy shop and the Ravelry shop, are at 10% off everything in the shop until the 10th of July, until midnight on the 10th of July. So if you've had your eye on one of my patterns, or potentially on one of my bags or one of my finished products in my Etsy shop, now would be a great time to pick it up, since you'll save a little bit of money. I do have some plans, hopefully, in the very near future, to be taking my shop off Ravelry and taking my shop off Etsy and hosting my own platform. I am looking to take my brand to that next level where I have my own webpage, and I am doing it as a true independent as opposed to on others' platforms, which is going to be scary and exciting all at the same time. I am not going to get into any political ramblings on this podcast. I just want to say that this channel, this space, is a safe space for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, what you believe in, what your religion, what your skin color, what your politics are. It doesn't matter to me. As long as you respect this space as one of peace, of sharing the love for our crafts, as tolerance, as a space where we can all come together regardless of our backgrounds, regardless of what else we do, and we can come together and share in what we have here, in crochet and in crafting, and where we can be focusing on what makes us the same instead of continuously searching for and fighting with each other about what makes us different. That's that. That's all I have to say. Any hate speech of any sort from either side of any debate is not welcomed here. No name calling is welcomed here. No finger pointing is welcomed here. This is a space where we celebrate yarn and we celebrate each other as makers and as designers and as human beings. This is what that space is for. I ask that you please respect that. This is a space for everyone. And I hope everyone understands what I'm trying to do with that. That is as much of a statement as I'm going to make on the things that have been going on. All right. If you've stuck around this long and now listened to my little bit of a rant as well, I thank you so much. For everybody who has already purchased my patterns, I thank you so much. It means the world to me that something that I am so passionate about and something that I would love to be able to do full time is I'm starting to see the light. I'm starting to see glimmers of how this can happen. It will be completely your doing if I can get out onto my own platform. That is all due to the support of people like you. So thank you so much. If you haven't purchased yet, by all means, go check it out. You don't have to, but go take a look. Even a visit to the pages is worth a lot. Now, if you have purchased and you have created one of my bags or one of my other patterns, and you're on Ravelry, if you can link to my patterns, that would be great. But as I said, if you are not on Ravelry, you can access my patterns in my Etsy shop. All right. Thank you so much. I do appreciate everybody coming by. Until we talk again, please be kind to yourselves. Please be kind to each other. We're all we've got. So let's band together. Let's find what makes us, let's find our similarities. Let's raise each other up. Let's cheer each other on. Let's just be kind. Be kind to each other. Bye now.